Hey guys, today I'm going to do the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 1 reunion part 1. I was very entertained with this reunion because it was shade everywhere. I didn't understand a lot of the stuff that was going on. It was so much, it just felt like all the etiquette went out the window on this reunion. I don't know what happened. Last we knew everybody was kumbaya and cool. We could tell just Katie wasn't feeling the women or whatever, but it was different. Let's get on with the ladies. Okay, let's say I don't too much like going in on people's looks, so whatever. Like I said, I can't afford none of the dresses or nothing they had on. But what I will say is Giselle, I didn't like her hair. I don't know why. I just didn't like her hair. Andy said she looked like an Oscar award. I said, okay, maybe, okay. But anyway, Robin, I thought was cute. Her hair was a little different, so, it was a little different, but I liked it. I probably would have preferred the Robin with the short hair, but I think she's beautiful either way. Ashley, I liked her hair. She changed her hair up. I don't even remember what her dress looked like. Karen looked like she lost weight. Um, she looked like Karen to me. She looked just probably what I expected her to look like on the reunion show. Not bad at all. And not like, oh my gosh, she was like top notch. No, she just looked like Karen. She looked very age appropriate. So it wasn't nothing bad. Katie, ugly, horrible makeup. I don't know. She needs to fire that makeup artist. Like, I don't know if he didn't like her or she didn't like her, but that makeup was horrible. I thought she should have wore her hair down. I didn't like the ponytail either. Charisse looked it plain to me. I didn't like her hair. I don't know who be putting them wigs on her hair or lace front. I don't know, but that shit just, for these women to act like they have so much money, it just, mm-mm. Anyway, so Andy was talking to them about, being on the show. And, Robin is very excited. She was like, I can't believe I'm even sitting on this couch. And, she was real excited. They talked about social media and what, the backlash and stuff that social media have gave them, or good things they gave them or whatever. And Karen talked about people coming after her mo, but Karen loves Karen, so she didn't give a damn what nobody said about her mo. She said it's a beauty mark. It's a beauty mark on some people. I don't know about Karen, but hey, like I said, Karen loved Karen, so if she love it, hey, she got confidence to love it, so I'm not tripping about that. It was just a lot. It was a lot of shade going on with these women that I just was like, We found out that Katie and Andrew are no longer together. She broke off the engagement. She gave him the ring back. The other woman was like, I wouldn't give the ring back. They asked her, did she pawn it? And she was like, I don't do that. I don't pawn jewelry. Okay, but whatever. She just has this stank fucking attitude that I just can't mesh with her. They talked about her relationship with Andrew and how, they felt like she rushed that along because people in society make you think that you have to put this family together and all that kind of stuff because you have the kids and stuff like that. And she was kind of rushing it along. And I don't think, she didn't kind of disagree with that. She took that in. My whole thing, well, I'll get to that. But, so that was that with them. They broke up, not together, broke up. I didn't give a fuck about them because, like we all been saying from the beginning, that she saw something that we didn't see. He didn't seem like he wanted to marry her. She didn't let that relationship just go flow like or whatever. So that was on her. They brought up the etiquette situation and how all these women was say they were tired of talking about etiquette, but I'm like, y'all was doing it. Yeah, we was tired, but I don't know how y'all was tired when y'all were the one bringing up etiquette. Like, well, it went like I said, it went out the window with this reunion show. Um, they talk. I'm trying to like look at my notes or whatever, but fuck it. I'm just go by what I got down. If we all over the place, we all over the damn place. So let's talk about. I felt like Sharice didn't like she had a problem with Giselle. I don't know what the problem was, but she had a big ass problem with Giselle. Every little thing, she was like, "Is he talking to you? Andy, were you talking to me or were you talking to her?" And I'm sitting there like, where is this coming from? Then I'm looking at the girls like, y'all so busy talking about how Giselle and Robin treated y'all. Look how, why is this not directed towards Sharice? I don't understand. And then when it was something Sharice said about, no, okay, let's talk about Ashley's little house thing that she had for the ladies' night or whatever. So she had this ladies' night with the women, and they were talking about the room situation and how Giselle and Robin felt. They were mad about the room situation. Giselle was like, it wasn't really about the rooms per se. It was about we didn't have no air in the room, yada yada yada. So just Ashley was like, okay, and y'all told me, and like I guess the next day they told her they was gonna give her $20 on the air or whatever, and she was just like, okay, y'all ain't got no air. So she felt like, oh, y'all could have slept naked, y'all could have did this, and even Andy had to look at her like, bitch, are you serious? I wouldn't have stayed at your house either if I didn't have air. She was like, but you would have told me though. And I'm like, but they did tell you and you didn't even correct it. And okay, maybe because they already had stank ass attitudes, but still. I'm just saying, I would have probably had a fucking attitude too. I came so far away. It's already hot, and you don't even give me a fucking fan, bitch. I don't care if you don't have no air conditioning. At least give a bitch a fan. Like I'm saying. So yeah, that was a problem. Oh, they brought up. Oh, was it that? Oh well, I get to that. It don't matter. But yeah, I would have had a problem with that too. They brought up Karen's birthday party and the whole sitting in the right chair and all that kind of stuff. And it was stupid. And I felt Giselle like, bitch, all you had to do was say something and all that could have been squashed. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal, but Karen made it a big of deal. Um, they also asked Sharice, like, about Katie, coming at Giselle at her party. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't do that. The way Karen did that, she apologized. And Sharice was like, well, she apologized and she was like, but, like, she just now doing it now. They both just apologized about that now. And like I said, it felt like Sharice had a real stank problem with Giselle. She just had a real stank ass problem. They talked about the whole crab party thing, and Sharice got called out on her saying her old boy can do her hair. And she was like, well, it was just to deflect. No, bitch, you told him he can do your hair. That's why he felt like that. And then even so with that, you told him to go back downstairs. They went back downstairs. She got in trouble for saying how, calling people ghetto. And it still seemed like she wasn't apologetic from that. She was talking about, I don't care if it was Kansas. I'm like, bitch, so, I just felt like it was a state of mind. No. No, bitch, you were being derogatory with that, so come on now, like, be for real. And then I'm like, okay, would you be mad if some people from Kansas, like, anybody from Kansas or Baltimore moved to Potomac would do something like that. Bitch, just own it. I don't even know what to say about that. Bitch, just own it that it was derogatory. She talking about, well, I apologize for the people in Baltimore. I went to college in Baltimore, and I'm like, just, I just don't like her. They brought up, things being a home or something like that. And Giselle, oh, they were talking about being in Baltimore or whatever. And Giselle was talking about, they were talking about houses. And they were talking about Karen's kitchen and everything. And Karen was like, shit, I pay $10,000 a month for mortgage. And until you can pay that, bitch, I don't care what they say. I'm with you on that part. I don't feel like the appliances you have in your house make your house a home. They talked about Giselle's home, and Giselle was like, that's my home. Whatever, me and my kids make that a home. And Katie was like, but you're renting. I'm like, bitch, does it matter? She lived there. She can afford to rent it. How about that? Like, I don't like bougie bitches like that where, oh, if you renting, you're not good enough to be around. Like, bitch, come on now. Like, I just didn't like the way they were just coming at Giselle, like, with the shade. Another thing is, it was something, oh, they asked Ashley, would she invite the girls back to her home? And she said, I invite Katie. I said, well, Sharice, why is that not a dig to you? Why is that not I'm just saying, I know she had problems with Karen at her other house, and all that kind of stuff with the, husband or whatever coming, but Sharice, why you didn't take offense to that? I'm just saying, like, what problem Ashley has with you? You didn't argue with her this season. None of that. So what is her problem with you? They talked about Ashley taking care of her mom. She said she does take care of her mom and stuff like that. She paid her mom a car off. She did all this kind of stuff. I'm not tripping off of that. If her mama, maybe her mama didn't want her to take care of her like her mama said. So I really wasn't tripping about that. What else we're gonna talk about that they were talking about? Oh, that apology that Karen gave Sharice about the way she acted at her house or whatever. Why apologize if that's not what you mean? And then Sharice, why accept that apology if you was gonna go back with Andy and agree that that was a half-ass apology? Because you was like, I accept, and then when Andy says something, then you say, oh yeah, that was a half-ass apology. Well, bitch, why did you accept it then? Girl, say guys, I just don't like her. I think she real fake. Karen didn't bring the girls to the social circle. Sharice was like, bitch, I bought a house in Potomac. That's how I got up in this circle. Giselle, like, my parents, did things here, been here, like, bitch, no. So whatever. They talked about Karen's party and how Katie was talking about her party. But then I was like, and how Karen busted her ass. I was like, and your event was when? I'm just saying. Like, I'm glad that they were giving it to Katie. But I was wondering, Katie was like throwing a little shade, but Karen is going to get her together. But why wasn't you throwing that same kind of anger and shit towards Karen the way you were throwing towards Giselle? Because she was busting your ass out too real quick. It seemed like none of these ladies give two fucks about Katie besides Ashley. Them two, I don't know what's going to happen with them two next season. They going to be on the two that gets along against the other women, the two young women against the older women. I just, because I was like, how this going to pan out if they come back next season when they talking all this shit to these women? Well, when really nobody really gets along besides everybody clicked up, basically. It's sets of twos on all these women. They talked about, I told you I got notes everywhere. Robin and her husband, and they in love. They gonna get back together. They gonna work that shit out. He still on the coaching staff at the university, so at least their money is looking better. They brought up the whole situation about Ashley Googling them, and she was like, well, I Googled everybody. Maybe it was wrong for me to go take it back to Katie, but this is what I do. And I'm sitting there like, this is what social media have done to people. You can't get to know people for who they are, and then you always get on there and be like, well, social media is this, and so you can't believe everything you hear, but then you want to run and Google people, knowing that people can put what they want to put out on people, and that's what you go by. So you really believe this lady had $25 in her bank account, and then even when it came out and she said something about it, when y'all argued about it, you said, oh, this was last summer. But I'm like, so why would you bring it up now and say this is what she got in her bank account? You know what I'm saying? Like, bitch, like, I just felt like that was way out of line. And I didn't want her to make excuses for that. I wanted her to just own it and say, that's what I did. I was out of line for it, and move on. But when you start making excuses for what you did, it felt like you're not remorseful what you did. So I did. I thought that was really out of line. Robin brought up that the guy had killed himself, the one that had took their money, and I was like, oh, damn, that's like fucked up. But I'm like, that's also fucked up what he did. But I'm never going to, go hard on anybody that committed suicide. He knew he was wrong. He had to deal with that. And I'm just going to move on from that. She's not in love with him. She loves him, but she's not in love with him. Because and she doesn't want to be hurt. But I'm like, I think you're doing like I said before, you're doing yourself more of a disservice staying with him this long and not knowing where it's going to go. It's just really doing you and your kids a very disservice of living this lie, or living where he can walk out any moment because he's not committed to you, or he can go sleep with the next woman and come back and fuck you because he's not committed to you. So I girl, figure that shit out. But hey, you like it, whatever. Karen in this whole help comment, I didn't even give a fuck about her help comment, and I felt like she was fucking wrong, out of line. She said she was wrong, but when she said that she could have called him something much more worse, I'm like, what was more worse, Karen? What would have been more worse that you couldn't say that, or you keep saying it like you want to say it, but you don't want to offend nobody? What could have been much worse? I just really wanted her, and I wanted Andy to go in on her and ask her that question. The way he went in on her about the half-assed apology. That's what I wanted Andy to go in on. Yeah, I don't understand why he was letting her go, a lot of shit he was letting go. I felt like a lot of the stuff that these women were doing, he was just letting it go and letting it move on and all that. And I'm like, no, this shady ass Andy from that just did this Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion wouldn't let that shit pass. So Sharice and her, like I said, Sharice and her Baltimore come on, like, you not going in on these women and addressing these issues that these women shouldn't have been saying, but y'all want to go in on Giselle. Like, I don't understand why everybody's not equal opportunity for this. Ashley and you humping Robin, girl, I understand she's saying that, we were at a party, we were having fun, yada, yada, yada. But if somebody say that they're uncomfortable, you just acknowledge and say, you know what, my bad for making you feel uncomfortable. When I'm around people that I like to party with, this is not a problem. But just acknowledge that you make this lady feel uncomfortable. Giselle, you didn't call this girl a thought or whatever, and you said she was thottish. Okay, I didn't see anything that was thottish behavior from Ashley that night. Well, I didn't see no thottish behavior from the whole season with Ashley. I felt like she was a lot she was immature on some levels, but I never thought she was thottish. So I felt like Giselle should have owned that just as well, and should, like I said, once you just own it, you don't have to make excuses for what you said. Um, the next thing I wanted to talk about before I end this real quick is Katie. When you talked about, let's go back when they were talking about Robin and her bankruptcy and Google and actually Googling her. Let me tell you something, dumbass Katie. Because you were talking about, you brought Giselle into that and was saying something about Giselle brought up the blog. I mean, was reading a blog in the car and all this kind of stuff. Bitch, they wouldn't have knew probably about the blog if you did not bring up the blog in the car. You brought up and said that you wrote a blog about it. So, bitch, you said that. I'm about to look for that blog and read it. What the fuck are you talking about? Like Kate Giselle said, but she didn't write that about herself. She said you didn't write that about herself. So, like I said, own that you was fucking wrong. Don't try to throw digs at Giselle for no fucking reason. Like, no, bitch, you did that. And Giselle read it. And like she said, bitch, I read it in your face. That shit was, I don't know what they was arguing about, but when Giselle told that bitch she's on a merry-go-round with no horses, just dizzy, I fell the fuck out. I felt like that was funny as hell. I don't care what nobody said, that shit was funny. But then they brought up the whole race situation and her being black and her being black enough, and I feel like this is a stupid losing battle conversation, but I felt like I understand where both of them is coming from. I understand where she's biracial, so no, she doesn't have to say, oh, I'm black or I'm white today. But I understand where these black girls are coming from. Like, bitch, own who you are. Be proud of who you are. Don't just keep saying, I'm Jewish, and not acknowledge that you're black also. I felt like she put up that Twitter picture because she knew everything was going to come out about what she had said and how she had been feeling, so she had to do that picture. Bitch, that picture was just a deflection of what you have been saying all season. I'm just saying. But I mean, I feel like biracial Jew people do get a bad rap as far as not being black enough. Like, fuck. Like, come on. They're black. They're white. Like, I don't feel like they should have to pick a side either. I don't feel like Katie should have to pick a side and say who she is and who she's not. But I do feel like just acknowledge that you are both. Don't just keep saying, well, my mom is white, and not acknowledge that your dad is black. Or I feel like people that get offended real quick is like ashamed of something. And I don't feel like these women asking her questions were them just badgering. And maybe they didn't know a lot of things. A lot of people do want to know what you gonna have your kids pick. Maybe no, it's not nobody's business, but I didn't feel like that was an offensive question to say what what box are they gonna pick on their application, or or because I would want to know that too, bitch. I'm not gonna lie, because they're biracial, and I feel like if they're picking white, because bitch, you're gonna make a comment next week and say, well, they don't look black. But if they pick something that say white, to me, they're not acknowledging their black side. So, yeah, I was always told to pick other. Even though I know I'm black as shit. But my dad used to tell us to pick other because he felt like, picking other, then people won't just automatically throw your fucking application in the trash because you're black. They would give you at least a chance to say, let me give them a call back. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we used to pick other. Now I just feel like shit, I put black because I feel like shit, if you don't want me just from what my application say, bitch, fuck you. But I do get where my dad used to come from with that. But I just felt like it was stupid. I felt like I'm gonna get more into it next week because it kind of went off on the race issue. Um, I felt like Katie calling Robin and Giselle Dumb and Dumber was way out of line, and Robin was over it. Robin wanted to get that bitch, and I was like, please let her go, because it's just something, like, you know how you don't want them to get beat up, but you just really want them to get a good ass whooping that they didn't get when they was little? That's kind of what I want Katie to get. I'm just saying. But that's really all I have. I don't have no more notes. If I missed something, y'all leave it in the comment section, and then next week I have all my notes, everything straight, and then I'll do my review proper probably next week. Anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think. Follow me on all social media sites by Thaghettoview, THA, not THE, and I will talk to y'all in the next video. Peace.